Hello fellow makeup lovers, how are you guys doing today? We are going to be doing a full face of makeup products that I made you buy. So I got this idea from Juicy Jazz on YouTube. I will go ahead and link her channel down below, but I went ahead and asked y'all on Instagram actually a few months ago and then again today to kind of round out my list a little bit more, what products I have influenced you to buy. There were so many eyeshadows. It was just like eyeshadows galore. So I feel like, I mean, that's my favorite thing to talk about, so it makes sense, which is why I posted again today, and I'm like, tell me what I made you buy that isn't an eyeshadow, because I don't have any concealer on this list. I don't have any bronzer on this list. I tried to be as fair as possible. I literally have like tally marks for things that were mentioned multiple times. The two palettes that were mentioned the absolute most, in case you guys are curious, because I thought it was interesting, would be the Sigil inspired dragon palette, which I was kind of intrigued that that was one of the top ones, and then the other top palette was the Glamlight Cake palette. But above everything else, Divina and Terra Moon single shadows, like, I just got the response nonstop over and over and over and over again, and specifically Terra Moon's Red Giant, which we're going to be using today. So I'm going to do a look with Divina and Terra Moon's. But first, the eye primer that I got the most responses for that y'all bought because of me, it was the Crow and Pebble eyeshadow primer. I personally like to use the shade Parchment, which you can see I've got a giant dip. I stopped using this for a little bit because I was so close to maybe not using it up, but like just getting there. So I've been trying to focus on other eyeshadow primers, but I really do love this one, so I'm just gonna throw it all over my lids. It adds a little bit of coverage without being super thick, and my eyes are just slightly stained purple from the Menagerie Flight Club palette. So I'll show you what we're working with here. This first palette is my Terra Moon's eyeshadows, looking absolutely lovely. And I'm kind of thinking of doing like a green look and then using Red Giant on the inner corner, like the pop of red. I just thought that would be kind of interesting. And then here is my Divina shadows, most of them. There's a few missing, but there's what they look like. Again, I feel like there's just so many green options that are calling to me today. I'm gonna start off with this shade from Terra Moon's called Arctic Lime. I'm just gonna pop that through my entire crease. I wanna do something fun, but I also wanna do something simple and quick at the same time. That's my goal for this eye look, just throwing it on and then building it up a little bit. It's a really pretty chartreuse green. Okay, next I'm going to go ahead and take the shade Ivy from Terra Moon's, just picking up a little bit of that and popping it on my outer V. Just lightly buffing that out. Okay, so before we go into the lid shade, another product you guys mentioned, and I'm not surprised at all because I love this, I rave about it, the NYX Glitter Primer, so I'm going to use that today, and I'm just going to pop it all over my entire lid, not being too precise with it or anything. Just adding a bit of a sticky, tacky base. And then we're gonna go into one of my favorite shimmers from Divina all over the lid. I'm gonna go ahead and take the shade Orion, which is absolutely stunning, and just popping that on. So beautiful, my goodness. And that is basically what we're doing for the lid. We'll do the inner corner and the lower lash line in a little bit. The primer that I had the most people say that I made them buy is the Danessa Myricks Prism FX Hydrating Lotion. Really, really love this one. So I'm just going to go ahead and do one pump. Throw it all over my skin. I know she has some liquid highlighters that I did not buy originally when I made my first order trying Danessa Myricks, because I purchased like 5 products or something on Beaulish just because I really wanted to give her a shot, and so I kind of just had to pick and choose like what appealed to me the most, and the liquid highlight didn't end up on that list. But now I've been loving liquid highlights so much that I'm actually kind of curious to go maybe purchase one. I've barely been buying makeup. I think I made one order this month. I've only bought one palette during the entire year of 2021 so far. So I don't know, maybe I'll think about it, but I have a lot of liquid highlighter that I'm already loving. I literally have two open right in front of me, so I don't need it, but it intrigues me. So next for foundation, I had one vote for 3 different foundations. So one was the Kosas Tinted Face Oil. I also had one vote for the Juvia's Place Shade Sticks, which I like as well. And then I had one vote for the IT Cosmetics CC Cream, which I'm trying to finish. So I chose this one, and I think I'm just gonna wear it by itself because I'm wearing a turtleneck right now. I feel like I can get away with it. And yeah, I'm not too worried about it. So just gonna go ahead and throw that on. I love this foundation so much. Oh man, I forgot. I also had a few votes for different brushes, but I forgot to pull them out. And one was the Pawpaw Sponge from Shop Miss A. So maybe I can use that for my concealer, but I didn't wet it. Forgot about tools. Okay, so the concealer that got one vote, but this was the only concealer that was mentioned, is the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer in the shade Cloud. And I do like this concealer. Is that a hair? I would have a hair stuck in there. Wow, that's gross. I do like this concealer. I don't love it. I think it's just because I don't love the shade, but the next shade up is a little bit too dark. I don't know. Just gonna go ahead and throw it underneath my eyes, and then any area where I want to highlight a little bit, throw a tiny bit here where it's red, even though I should probably go in with a different concealer that's closer to my skin tone, but it's fine. It's fine. All right, just gonna go in with my Shop Miss A Pawpaw Sponge, which is my favorite beauty sponge. So good, so affordable. I didn't wet it because I'm being lazy, but it still works just fine. It's just gonna be a little bit less luminous, and I feel like when you don't wet it, it has a little bit more coverage. So just blending that in, tapping motions, swipe or no swiping, you know the deal. So I do have one powder that you guys mentioned I made you buy, and that is the Give Me Glow Powdered Sugar Powder. I love the formula of this. It's probably the best powder I've ever tried, but I have not been talking about it on camera at all just because of some things that went down with Give Me Glow and just not really wanting, oh my god, look at the mess that is, not wanting to support them anymore. I just feel like morals over makeup, that's my personal opinion. So, but I have it, but also I don't even wear powder all the time. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw this underneath my eyes just to set. So yeah, if you're wondering like why I talked about this so much and then it was just dead silence, crickets, that's why. But just lightly setting everywhere I highlighted basically. Oh man, I just set with powder and I wasn't even thinking about the fact that I pulled out the Auric Glow Lust in the shade Pyrite to use as bronzer because I had one person say that they bought this because of me and I wanted to bronze with it, so I'll just try and use it over powder and hopefully it works out. I also had someone mention that they bought the Anissa Beauty contour brush because of me, and I'm like racking my brain, like when did I talk about this? Have I only used it in one video ever? I can't even remember. This is their Crescent contour brush. I have, let me see, I have a powder brush from them, which is really nice. I have their concealer brush, which I would have thought that that would be what maybe I had influenced someone to buy because I talk about that so much more. But this works perfectly for cream bronzers, so not mad that it was mentioned. Just gonna go ahead and kind of stipple that in the area. That looks funny, in the area that I need it, and then just start blending out. Hopefully it doesn't disturb what's happening underneath. And then just go around my forehead. This is a great shape if you have a 5 head, because it just like really, it's like a little rainbow. So next for blush, I didn't have any specific blushes mentioned, but someone did say that they purchased the Salt New York products because of me. So in my little Salt New York palette, I do have 2 blushes. They look very funny because they came funny when they were mailed, because I think that they kind of became liquidy in the heat and then they dried down funny. They offered to replace them. I said, no, it's fine. I didn't want to be wasteful, just in case you're looking at them and you're like, what the heck is going on there? So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and for this look, I'm gonna take the shade Rose. So I went ahead and picked up a little bit of that and I'm just gonna pop it on my cheeks and then just lightly blend it out. And you know what, I'm gonna stop there and go in with one of my favorite brushes. Just gonna blend it out with this. So it's just a little soft hint of blush. Looks really, really pretty. The more I use the salt products, the more I like them. We're gonna take a break from the face and we're gonna go back into the eyes. And I'm gonna start off with a matte from Divina that I just feel like is calling to me with this look. And that is going to be the shade Courtney, which has actually been like changed. The color is not the same as it used to be because I think one of the pigments that was used in this got discontinued. So here's what my Courtney looks like. I feel like I need to buy the new one just like to have and compare and see for science. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pop that along my lower lash line about halfway. Such a pretty shade. For the rest of the lower lash line, I'm gonna go into a multi-chrome from Divina called Phenomenon because I feel like it goes with this color story. Just popping that right here. Oh, smoky. I was gonna say smooth and pigmented. How did smoky come out? Okay, so hopefully this looks cool and not odd. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up with Red Giant from Terra Moons for my inner corner. I also had quite a few votes for Prismatic from JD Glow, which I think would look really pretty right here as well. But Red Giant looks pretty cool. I like the contrast of the red with all the green. Okay, I got several votes for the We Make Up More mascara, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw that on my lashes, throw on probably a black liner in my waterline, and I'll be right back. So the highlighters that got the most votes would be the Bitter Lace Beauty highlights, Lethal highlights, and then coming in top was Ofra highlights, and specifically Ofra Pillow Talk was mentioned a few times. So that is what I'm going to be using today. Just gonna throw it on. One last step, and that is lipsticks, and I got so many votes for Propa Beauty lipsticks. No one really mentioned a specific shade, if I remember correctly, so I'm just going to choose one that I feel works with this look. Pulling out one of their newer shades, Prowess, which is a really beautiful brown. So this is the entire look finished. I really loved it how it turned out. I feel like I've influenced y'all to buy some really amazing products. So many of my favorites are on my face right now, and I'm not mad about it at all. If you would like to participate in future videos, I normally do like polls and questions and stuff on Instagram just because it's so user-friendly. My Instagram is just at AMYLOVESmakeup. You can feel free to check me out on there. I also have a Patreon, which is all tutorial content. I post 4 separate, exclusive, ad-free tutorials on Patreon every single month, and I think that there's like 35 or something that are already there. They're like in the vault, which you'll have access to as well. Just throwing it out there. It's completely extra, but it's there. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.